All right, so let's dive in. So first off, PMS symptoms, one of the more common things you're going to see are heavy bleeding and cramping happening premenstrually. So usually within 4 to 7 days, you may see more cramping, back pain, ovarian pain, right? Just a lot of that muscle just really feeling extra crampy in that time frame. Why is that? Well, as you go into the luteal phase, you're going to see an increase in prostaglandins. These are like fatty, like they're basically like hormone kind of mediators, right? And they play a major role on inflammation. And one of the big prostaglandins that you're going to see increase is that prostaglandin E2. And those prostaglandins are going up to help that uterus contract, to help slough out that endometrial lining. And when prostaglandins are out of balance, typically due to low progesterone, progesterone is a very powerful anti-inflammatory, so it helps modulate that prostaglandin E2. So does really good fats like fish oil. Even some GLA-6 fats like blackcurrant seed oil or borage oil can really help modulate those fatty acids. And so one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to actually look at progesterone. You're commonly going to see a luteal phase defect, either a shorter luteal phase or lower progesterone in that luteal phase, and that can cause prostaglandins to potentially go up. So anytime we start seeing cramping issues, right, and prolonged heavy bleeding, is a chance that we have increase in prostaglandins and we have low progesterone. So one of the first things we got to look at is, why is that progesterone low? Well, progesterone is anti-inflammatory and can help modulate those prostaglandins. So if we're chronically stressed and we have poor diet and we're not, eating good proteins and fats to stabilize our blood sugar, if we have dysglycemia throughout the day or lots of physical, chemical, and emotional stressors happening, that could be gut issues, food issues, emotional issues, sleep issues, too much exercise, too little, chronic pain, food allergens, gut bugs, etc., not eating good proteins or fats, this can easily create imbalances in progesterone and cause low progesterone. And like I mentioned, proteins and fats are really important because these help provide the building blocks for your prostaglandins 1 and 3, which are actually anti-inflammatory. Prostaglandin 2 is a little bit more pro-inflammatory, helps the uterus contract. Prostaglandin 1 and 3 are more anti-inflammatory. So good healthy fats, fish oils, good healthy saturated fats, and then typically we can even do some omega-6 fats like blackcurrant seed oil and like borage oil that are absolutely amazing in helping to modulate prostaglandin E2. So one of the first things we'll do is we'll test female hormones right around that day 20-ish in their cycle and see where they're at the heart of their luteal phase. We may see low progesterone. We may see higher estrogen in relationships, so that start of estrogen dominance starting to happen there. All of these things can be part of what's happening, and you have to get to the root. Also, progesterone doesn't just go low by itself, so you have to fix the driving factors that are causing progesterone to be low. Are you sleeping well? Are you eating good proteins and fats at every meal? Do you have dysglycemia under control? Obviously, other pain issues could be from ovarian cysts, right? Ovarian cysts are going to be essentially when you have cysts in the ovaries, and that can be driven by lots of androgens and insulin. So if we're doing too much carbs and we have a lot of dysglycemia, our blood sugar's oscillating, that could be a thing. We could see things like endometriosis, right? Chocolate cyst. This is when we have endometrial tissue essentially in the uterine lining growing outside of the uterus, on the ovaries, etc. And typically the only way to know this for sure is usually exploratory laparoscopy procedure. So it's kind of like doctors kind of giving their best guess on it, right? Either way, the hallmark for a lot of these things is estrogen dominance. High levels of estrogen, low progesterone, and then of course the ovarian cyst is a little more unique. That's where we're going to see surging levels of insulin, which are going to then drive up testosterone, and that's going to cause more ovarian cysts to grow. But, ovarian cyst pain, uterine cramping pain, you may not know the difference, right? Obviously, if a uterine cyst explodes or an ovarian cyst explodes, you're going to feel that. That's usually really painful. But the uterus cramping, more midline ovarian stuff can be a little more to the right or left, but it's kind of hard to tell, right? Because it's all in that same general 1 foot area. So either way, we got to get progesterone looked at. We have to get good fats dialed in, right? Fish oils, coconut, good saturated fats, grass-fed meat, right? Our gamma-linoleic acid from good quality meats. I'd also say blackcurrant seed oil can be very helpful, especially if females have acne as well. GLA fats like blackcurrant are excellent. Fish oil, like I mentioned. You can even do extra cod liver oil, which has extra vitamin A, which is wonderful. We may add in progesterone. We may add in chaste tree to help modulate progesterone levels. We may look at using maca. We may look at using DHEA as well. We may also look at estrogen metabolism. If we're not metabolizing or detoxifying estrogen, that could be a problem. So we may look at DIM and different sulfur and glutathione like compounds to help with metabolism. We may also look at gut bacterial imbalances. If we see things like beta-glucuronidase elevated, that's a bad bacterial enzyme, and that enzyme can deconjugate estrogen that's being escorted out of the body. So that bad bugs can make this enzyme beta-glucuronidase, which can then deconjugate, which means it takes away the protein bound to that estrogen to help it be detoxified. So things like that can also, in the gut, impact your hormone and metabolism. So we have to look at all these different variables. So, of course, eating green vegetables, good protein, good fats, having all the blood sugar dialed in. We may have to look deeper at the gut. And, of course, all of the different hormonal things play a big role. Now, of course, progesterone can be influenced by lots of adrenal stress. So it's always good to look at the adrenals because chronically stressed adrenals, whether it's high or low cortisol, that cortisol stimulus can pull that progesterone downstream and cause that progesterone to turn into cortisol because progesterone, when you're stressed, it's an anti-inflammatory hormone, and cortisol will be used and pulled from it. It'll be converted from progesterone to cortisol. So I hope that makes sense out of the gates. Again, this is Dr. J. If you enjoy this content and you want to dive in deeper, feel free to click the link below. You can schedule with myself and colleagues. We're available worldwide for functional medicine consult supports to help you out, where we can dive in, look at labs, look at diet, look at subs, and get to the root cause of why this stuff's happening. And if you enjoyed today's content, share with friends and family. Give me a thumbs up. Put your comments down below as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me hit a couple of questions here now. What about eating too much sugar? Does that make the cramps worse? It can, right? Because more sugar is going to drive your prostaglandins up, right? So best thing is balance your blood sugar with good carbs and really good fats and good proteins. If you're having cramp stuff, you can use ginger and magnesium to kind of help relax the cramps. You can do an Epsom salt bath, which essentially is magnesium sulfate, and that gets absorbed into your body via the skin. That can be very helpful. There's a very good herb called cramp bark. I think it's viburnum, but it's cramp bark for short. I think it's viburnum, and that's very helpful at modulating that tissue there. Of course, there's other herbs that can be used like black cohosh and dong quai help modulate estrogen. There's some herbs like ginger, valerian are also very wonderful for calming that tissue. And then we may add in progesterone. We may add in some of these really good fats like black currant and extra fish oil or cod liver oil as well. But yeah, keeping the carbs and the refined sugar under control will help. Grass-fed meat, some good quality like sockeye salmon, all very good. Shantae writes in, oh my God, just about the conversation with you today. I'm experiencing painful cramps. I can't take it anymore. This video is for me. Was immediately clicked on it. Awesome. Great. Well, I must have gotten your message in the field, Shantae. Very cool. Look forward to working with you really soon. Excellent. So very important, when you look at hormones, it's good to look at the adrenals because the adrenals have a major effect on cortisol and your cortisol rhythm. That has a major effect on progesterone. So it's good to look at your adrenals, female hormones, progesterone. Also good to make sure your estrogen levels aren't way out of whack. And so all of the estrogen hormones can come from plastics and pesticides, hormones in the meat, and making sure hormones, pesticides, plastics, those would be the big ones. Make sure all those things are dialed in, and also the runoff and the water potentially. So make sure those 3 or 4 vectors are good, organic food's good, and that gives you kind of a good starting block out of the gates. And then looking at adrenals and female hormones, potentially thyroid if there's some thyroid issues, and then of course dialing in the gut because that's where all the building blocks come to play. All right, guys, this is Dr. J. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, comment, and share. Appreciate it. You guys have a phenomenal day. Take care, y'all. Bye.